going on, people? Welcome to the Lapeef Network. Let's get this show started. But before we do, make sure you guys get the likes up. Make sure you guys also subscribe to the channel. My apologies for the video issue, but looks like we got everything corrected. So it's going to be a great show. Looking forward to it. Introduce the panel for tonight. We got Freezy. We got Lauren. We got Amir. Courtney. Lucky. And me and myself, I'm Lapeef J.I. Again, welcome to the Lapeef Network. Kind of wanted to attack this from a different angle. I know a lot of people have been talking about the fresh and fit situation that's going on. No, we are not clout chasing over here, but I felt as though there are some lessons that we can learn just by looking at this situation. In case you guys seen the thumbnail said wrong turn, go back. Wrong turn, go back. And when I heard about the situation, I looked at it like this. In Chicago, on expressways, generally people on the right side, they're going this way. People on the left side, they're going that way, depending on which direction you're driving, of course. And every now and then, you have someone or some people that make a left turn going right into the traffic. Right into the traffic. And they realize it's the wrong turn, and they keep going. They keep going, and they do not go back. And what happens? Fatalities. People get injured. People get hurt. And so that's exactly how I looked at this situation. I looked at it as though you had two gentlemen that have a brand. And things happen. Things came out. And if, instead of holding themselves accountable for what was going on, again, we don't know all the facts, but just what's been presented to us, they still proceeded to go right through it. And so now what we are witnessing is a self-destruction. A self-destruction. And some of the things that I didn't like about it was that I thought it relates to a lot of us, is a lot of us have people around us that's cheering us on, that's still supporting us, even though we are doing wrong. That's a lesson that we can actually take from this situation. And what I also seen was the constant excuses. So when you hold yourself accountable, it's 10 times better to just accept the accountability. But when you lead with, but after you hold yourself accountable, and I feel after you hold yourself accountable, it tends to diminish that accountability that you attempted to hold for yourself. So it's been an interesting ride, just watching everything that's been coming out, and we're going to dive into it tonight. So I'm going to start with you, Lauren. After hearing about this fresh and fitness, what are your thoughts?
Right. So, right. You know, I watched the Q&A. It was hard to watch. I'm not going to lie. It really felt like the Q&A live last night. That's what I'm referring to. It really felt like two women talking. Like it was in terms of them like over explaining everything that happened, and like to your point, like we don't have all the facts. So I was really watching their show to be like, okay, I've heard from this person, I've heard from this person, let's hear from them. And it really felt like an argument between two women. I really feel bad for Fresh that he is like a part of it, because it really sounds like and seems like everything's falling on Myron, which is Fit, if I'm not mistaken. And so I just feel like there was little to no accountability. And although he said, you know, I'll take the blame, and then he followed it up, like to your point. To me, Myron argues like a woman. He really attacked each point.
What?
Yeah, he attacked the point like a woman. I'm sorry. It was I was cringy. I cringed through like half of the Q&A. And yes, some of the women, and I don't want to like name them because, you know, I'm not trying to get into all that, but like there's some accountability, major accountability that needs to be held on the women that were a part of it. But you know, I don't know where I heard it or who said it, but like arguments between men should stay with men. And I think he kind of went into the sphere to like go into like a battle with women on who's right and who's wrong. So that's really my take. I'm sure I have more on it, but
Oh yeah, we're gonna dive
initially
into it. Yeah.
it was just really cringy watching the Q&A off top.
Yeah, it was, man. I mean, like when things spiral out of control and that whole damage control is just something else to witness. Amir, Fresh and Fitness. When you saw what was going on, what were your thoughts?
I kind of knew that was coming.
Oh, did I say it wrong?
What? Fresh and Fit.
Okay, well, you know, I'm all
Okay.
over them. I don't watch them. You know, I just been kind of peeping behind the scenes. So excuse me for mispronouncing.
Fresh and
brand.
Fitness.
Fresh and Fitness? Is that
No,
what
I'm
he
just
said?
playing.
Nah. Go ahead, Amir. Go ahead. Fresh and Fit. What were your thoughts?
I saw it coming a long time ago. Someone asked me, it's funny because someone asked me right before this happened, like what I thought about Fresh and Fit and if I would go on their podcast. And I responded with, I thought that Myron is very mature, like very immature minded, and that he used Kevin Samuels' talking points and applies it as if Kevin Samuels is talking about him. So that's what I said about that. And I don't know if you guys saw what happened, how they said somebody tried to break into their studio while they were doing a live show. And then it's coming out that nobody actually broke in there. Somebody just opened the door. They have a video from the guy outside actually just opening the door. So they think it was just, what is it called when you try to make something publicity stunt? Like a publicity stunt.
Okay. That there was actually a video. The guy that actually was the intruder, he was on the lead attorney's live stream today, and I watched it. So if you guys get a chance, make sure you check that out, that live stream when he was on. He said a lot. He actually went back. Yeah, he actually went back from the very beginning and actually broke down the whole process. So just listen again. We don't know all the facts, but just to hear a lot more information about what really happened from that perspective and hearing everything that's been going on, you can kind of make some assumptions. But go ahead, Amir. My apologies.
No, that was all. I mean, that's just initial thoughts. Like I knew it was going to happen, like I said.
Okay. Lucky, Fresh and Fitness. I'm sorry, I keep saying fitness, man. Damn. I'm sorry again. I don't watch these guys, man. I don't watch them. I might have watched a couple shows, but I just
It's all
wasn't
good.
able to get with it, man.
It's all good.
Fresh and Fit, Lucky. What are your thoughts?
My initial thoughts is I'm a fan of the show. I think it's very entertaining. Yes. I think it's very entertaining, but I think it's blown out of proportion considering when you listen to like I've been preach and then you hear the back and forth. I think that they probably would have done better not responding and just letting it go, you know, because that's their opinion. Like people could react to this video. Should we all respond? You know what I'm saying? And then people twist your words and do things like that. But I do feel like I've been preach could have said a lot of the things that they thought while they were there. And then, you know, when you do a reaction video, it does kind of seem like you were just in front of us. Why couldn't you say what you said then? And maybe it's a guy thing. I don't know. But it does seem like things just kind of went into timing with the other girl about the text messages or something. So even with that, like, I don't think that he did anything that was actually sexual harassment from what I've seen. But I don't know. I think it'll blow over. I think that Fresh and Fit are kind of example of how people feel. Like she said, the Kevin Samuels talking points, they get a couple of those points and then they have the red pill talk. So, I mean, as long as they're blue pill, there's going to be red pill. So I think they'll turn this around some sort of way with their fan base and get better.
No, it's kind of interesting. Interesting. Courtney, Fresh and Fit. I got to write this down. Fresh and Fit. What are your thoughts about it when this whole story came out?
Well, I'll start off as I never was a fan of the show. I could never relate to it. The women on there were all
Instagram.
Sluts, Instagram, not even, I mean, they were OnlyFans. And so the women that they had on there was not relatable to me. I always thought it was interesting is that they always had a gang of women on there that, you know, we would say would be quote unquote for the streets, but then their talking points was always trying to be a little bit more intellectual than those women were. So the setup for me never was really my thing, but, you know, a lot of people enjoyed it, and I just let it rock. But then with Abba and Preach, I'm a huge Abba and Preach fan. I've been watching them for 2-3 years now, and I absolutely love their content. They did a reaction video, obviously, over when they was there. They actually did. Abba did check him when he was there. Myron said that he was blue-pilled, and he said, so I heard you said I was blue-pilled, and in Myron's the way that he communicates, he acted as if he didn't know, and I don't remember saying this or what show. And so that kind of started off where I looked at Myron, was like, you know, something about him, he's not forthright. But regardless of that, Abba and Preach, they did their thing. That's their show. They weren't disrespectful. They were talking about the talking points that they did. And then, of course, that's when it started. And Abba and Preach kind of took it beyond measure, talking about someone's wife, someone's country, wanting to box, someone that does MMA was quite silly. I don't know. I got a lot to say about it because it's been a lot these past few days that has corresponded with everyone, especially in the Black manosphere. And even yesterday, I did watch some of the Q&A. I mean, it was just a whole lot of prancing around. There wasn't no accountability. They tried to blame it on everybody else but them. And then they was kind of playing a good cop, bad cop. Myron was the good cop. Then Fresh all of a sudden tried to have some balls and become bad cop and talk bad to people. He never does. That's not his character. I mean, Fresh has never been one to be suave. So, like I said, yesterday was quite interesting, but no, I think they have a lot to answer for still, especially with the Ann Quinn with her. A lot of people right now, I'm seeing that their cult following is attacking all the Black manosphere, Poor Man's Podcast, O'Shea Du Jackson, which, you know, I rock with O'Shea. So that's a whole nother story within itself. But no, they have a cult following. And we're about to see. I think it's dividing people, and it might be rightfully so.
Okay. Freezy.
Yeah.
Fashion fitness. Let's talk.
Well, I just got a chance to research a little information tonight. To be honest with you, I wasn't really familiar with the whole thing, but I got a good synopsis. But from my understanding, Albert and Preach, they commented on Fresh and Fit's views on prostitution or something like that, and Fresh and Fit didn't like what Albert and Preach had to say, so they took to their podcast and kind of went back at Albert and Preach, and they started saying stuff like, you know, our podcast, we haven't been in business that long, but I guarantee you we'll have more viewers than them. So their ego kind of took control, and then after that they made a comment about I think it was Preacher's wife. Was it Preacher's wife? They made a comment about her saying she was fat and ugly. What called her a whale? Yeah. They called her a whale or something. I think her name is Beluga or something like that. But to me, it's just a prime example of some people, even though, you know, you can gain success, some people just can't handle it, man. Some people, they let their egos take control. They can't take correction. They can't take constructive criticism. If you say anything about them, you know, and they feel like their status has been diminished or something like that, they can't handle it. The ego takes over and they make mistakes. Man. And they went at that man's wife for no reason at all. You know, I felt like what Albert and Preach had to say about prostitution, it was just a response video, you know, about what they said about prostitution. And Fresh and Fit, to me, I watched Fresh and Fit. Kevin Samuel's been on there. Another guy that I used to follow named Mr. Organic, he was on there. To me, Fresh and Fit was mostly like for the guys, because they do have a lot of thoughts on the show. You know, they got a lot of thoughts.
It's
And
all thoughts.
well, they had some, you know, women that had businesses and stuff like that, went to school and college, but
really?
it's mostly thoughts. You're right, Courtney. It's mostly thoughts. And I mean, to be honest with you, it's like, you know, guys don't care about that. Guys are gonna watch it. You know, they're gonna see what's going on. So I used to watch it, and Myron, they had a lot of Kevin Samuels talking points. I agree with everyone. They had a lot of Kevin Samuels. Matter of fact, I think Myron wants to live vicariously through Kevin Samuels. That's how much he talks, you know, like Kevin Samuels. But to me, it's just not good to let your ego take control, because you're gonna make mistakes, man. Sometimes it's just good to take constructive criticism and just move on, man. Just move on, man. They made a bet that they couldn't lie in. I mean, I think Fresh challenged Preach to a fight, and then he found out that Preach is a martial artist. He has a black belt or something. He's a martial artist. So when he found that out, you know, he did an Instagram story about Fresh did an Instagram story about him buying a gun, which was childish. And then when they realized that the dude was like, Preach was like, okay, I'm going to be in town this week. We can fight. We can box. You talked about my country. You talked about my wife. We can fight. So Fresh, basically, he bitched out, and then that's when they did the apology video. I mean, whatever response, and you know, they just bitched out. That's all. Yeah. That's how I see it.
Right. Hey, I kind of want to ask you guys this. So, do you guys think that I'm gonna say Myron, because he seems to be the top dog when it comes to the Fresh and Fit? Do you think he was aware of what he was doing? Like, do you think that he knew exactly what he was doing, and he had bad intentions from the start?
As far as what specifically?
Like, as far as him, how he mishandled the business, because I heard there was a lot of shadiness going on as far as how he was treating what was supposed to be partners within the group. Like his intentions when it came to like how he brought people on, his intentions when it came to like the manosphere, like him talking about people behind their backs, or him like, do you think that he was fully aware of what he was doing?
I don't think he knew what he was getting into. I hear echo, FYI. So I don't think he knew what he was doing, or I don't think he knew the depth of the manosphere, right? I think he saw an opportunity. He jumped on it. He even said, like, we just started this not even a year ago, and we blew up real quick, and it got to our heads. Like, I don't think he understood like the responsibility or the gravity that he was walking into. In my opinion, he wasn't a man of integrity before the show. And on the show, all it did was just highlight the lack of integrity that he has. Typically, when you have a spotlight, all it does is shine a light on who you are, if not like brighter, right? So he was probably this way when he was in his previous job. He never stated why he no longer works for the feds, because he said he was like he worked for the feds before he got on the podcast. So he never said why he left. Typically, if you work for the feds, you make nice amount of money, right? This is a job that typically you retire from. I know a lot of people that work for the feds in different agencies, and they retire from these jobs because you do get paid well. So one, I'd be curious as to like how and like why did he leave that particular job to then start this particular podcast? And then two, he's an opportunist, right? Like he saw that the manosphere was like, okay, I could talk about this. I bagged women. I could talk about women. I know what women want. Let's talk about it. And he probably jumped on the opportunity to talk about that subject, right? So that's why he was like, all right, let me get the type of women that I'm usually in their inboxes. Let me get these women, throw them in here, and let's chat. Let's talk about it. And people.
Well, did you see about that guy who came out with all the receipts about Myron messaging some kind of a dating coach, talking about how he needed coaching and how he was so awkward and nervous with women, and how the guy said that Myron was super annoying, that this facade that he has on his show is just a facade, that he's not really some alpha.
But then that's why I said, and that's why I said, like, he saw an opportunity. He's like, let me jump on this. But like while I'm jumping into it, let me get whatever training I need so I can act like I know what I'm talking about in the moment. Like I just that's my opinion. It's like he never had integrity before the show, and all this did was just.
I have a question.
I agree with
you. I have a question for everybody based on what Lauren said. It just made me think. You said he's an opportunist and he's seen an opportunity. Do you think most people who look to gain a following, look to gain a business, search for opportunities, so they would be considered an opportunist? Like, I'm optimistic, so I'm just saying, I don't think he probably was as arrogant, because you can't really talk about how that high value man until you really have money to bark like he bark, I would say. But you can talk like that to the type of women that are on the show, kind of like what Courtney said. Like, you couldn't talk the way he talks amongst respectable women and them be impressed. You get what I'm saying? Because you have to bring people on the show that will look at you like, oh, he got money, he has a podcast, this and that and the other. So if they see a space where there's a large red pill type of following, would that be considered a bad opportunity to try to make money in that space, considering most people that have platforms, a lot of the times, that isn't really who they are. They put on a character because it brings ratings, it brings people, and it keeps us talking like we're talking now. We don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that a bad thing to look for opportunity in the space to make money?
Well, I think it's a difference, because to say, him being an opportunist, he's flat out lied. Myron is not his name. So that's one thing. Okay. It's not even his name. He didn't, no one knew that he was part of the feds. And actually, he only quit his job last year. And so he's going around saying that he is a coach and he teaches men how to get women. But he was with the feds last year. He didn't have any women. Like to what Amir said, there was a coach that's been exposing him for the past 6-7 months, saying that Myron told him that he only bags 4s. And he's trying to bag more. He wants to bag, 8s and pluses, but he has no idea why or how. So his whole persona is an absolute lie.
To be honest with you, I don't think it was a publicity stunt. I think they just couldn't handle the criticism. You know what I'm saying? I mean, those guys pretty successful. From looking at their podcast, they've hit videos that hit millions of views or whatever. They're pretty successful. I don't think that it was a publicity stunt. I think it was just they just egomaniacs, man. They couldn't handle constructive criticism. I'm gonna tell you something, JR. I know you real just like me, man. Man, most of them guys, you could tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I look at those guys' show, I look at Myron, I look at Fresh, and this is just my opinion. So everybody out there, whoever listening, don't take me as gospel. But from my opinion, just looking at those guys and listening to them talk, you can tell them guys ain't never used to get no play before this shit. They ain't used to get no play before this shit, man. So once they got a little fame, or whatever, they didn't know how to handle it. That's why they have all them thoughts on the show. Cause it was just like a newfound fame. That's what square ass dudes do. You know what I'm saying? They just don't know how to handle it.
That's kind of like what I was just saying. In a sense of how I looked at it, that's why I always thought their show was just entertaining. Because a lot of the stuff they said, I'm like, okay, whatever. But there's a large following. I mean, just look at the comments on just women in general. There's a large red pill following. So they're taking advantage of the space. They're going to be ignorant in the space. You know what I'm saying?
So for me, that's the piece that I'm like, they're irresponsible with. They have a large following, and you got men out here. I saw one interview with a dude that's like, man, Fresh and Fit, they helped me change my life. And he's like hopping in people inboxes to like try to take down a chick, Anna, whatever her name was. So he's in her, Anna Quinn, sending her nasty messages, all because Fresh and Fit said on their podcast, like, put their name in there and was like, I don't care if y'all go in her inbox. Really? Is that what we're telling men to do? Let's talk about dick discipline that we talked about before. Right. Are we not preaching that? Right. And it like, there was no accountability with that. It was just like, she put herself out there and just accept the fact that you don't have dick discipline and stand on that. Period. Like, what's wrong with that? And just leaving it a period and not adding a but, or this is how I feel, or No, we
Well,
talk
He
about
never said he had
accountability all the time.
discipline. He said that he would never be faithful to a girl because he said Kevin Samuels said high value men don't have to be faithful and they can always exercise options. He put himself in the high value man category when I don't think he's quite there yet.
Yeah,
Right.
and if you have to put
He's not alpha or something like that.
If you have to put yourself in that category, you're not a high value man. And if you have to pay for pussy, you're not a high value man. Like,
You know what?
That's not true.
High value men pay for it. And quite frankly, if Myron was paying for it, he wouldn't have these Anna Quinns and the thought box that he supposedly got pregnant. Exactly. So maybe he should have listened to Abba and Preach and got a high-end escort to do whatever he needs to do so she can go home and be silent than using his platform to get sex.
But high value men know to do that.
Right. Well, I don't think he's high value, period.
At all.
No, not at all.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's a self-proclaimed high value man. Like who told you that you were one? Just because you make money?
Most people are. Have you not noticed? Most people know what high value men are after the Kevin stuff. Before that, I did not hear it. I probably didn't even hear it at all. But now you just hear it, and so many regular people just know what it is. You could just say, you know, what kind of man you want to date that's regular, and it's like, oh, a high value man would never. I never said that that's what I was looking for, but that's what I'm saying. It's a large following. So people are going to act a fool in that space because, like he said, it went to our head. We got the attention. Even I seen the video where they were just disrespecting Abba and Preach. It was like a bit extra. Like you're calling them out. You're doing all this. And I mean, it just looked like they would get beat up. So that's why I said it's entertaining. And then, but you know, when you see Abba and Preach and they're taking it more serious, it's like, okay, they're more so integrity. They're more so, you know, it's a different tone. So I just say, Fresh and Fit, take it for what it is. It's trash. It's just like Jerry Springer. You wouldn't go on Jerry Springer and say, these women shouldn't do, we wouldn't even look at them because it's just for entertainment. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't expect much from it, is what I'm saying.
You know what? When they tried that lady like that, man, and I seen the text messages online, I was like, this is some lame ass shit. I was like, this is some lame ass shit, man, because like, I mean, and you know what? Kudos to that lady, man. Kudos to what's her name is?
Which lady? The white lady, Ann Quinn?
Yeah, we're not giving kudos to the Miss Cheeks. We can't give kudos.
No, kudos to Ann Quinn.
Help me out. Is that the same lady? Where I guess he said to come on this show, you have like basically I want to smash.
Anna.
Yeah.
That's Anna.
Okay.
Yeah. And when you have, let me tell you something. When you have to do something like that. That just tells it all. They told on this. Myron told on himself just from that text message. You a lame ass dude for even trying that lady like that. I'm gonna tell you something, man. What you should have did was been professional and follow through with the collab. That's what you should have did. You know what I'm saying? But you tried this lady for some pussy, and I mean that's like some fake ass internet Illuminati type shit. You know what I'm saying? For real, like you gonna try this lady and you feel like. You know, because of your clout, you feel like because of your so-called clout, you know, she's supposed to. And another thing on the text message, he even justified and said, "I'm pretty sure you've had sex with some nobodies. Why wouldn't you have sex with me? I'm a high value."
He said you've smashed multiple people that I know, so he thought she was. It wasn't even
okay
to her. It was just hearsay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's crazy though. Yeah. So why would you even do that? Go ahead.
It's a fake casting couch, which he's trying to do. So because he thinks he has clout, or he actually does have clout, he's using his platform as a casting couch, which happens with a lot of women in the industry or entertainment, where in order for them to get a role or a place on a show, then they're asked to put out.
Right.
The weird thing is with him, I mean, they're not getting money for it. I mean, I guess they can build a name off of it, but I don't remember none one of those women on that show except for the other lady that was OnlyFans, Nina, I believe that was her name. That's the only one that has a name on there. Other than that,
there was a nice girl on there.
For what?
There was a nice girl on there that expressed kind of like how her mother taught her wrong, but she didn't really get attention. Like she was the only one that wasn't a thought, I guess.
Hey, Miss TJ.
Hey, TJ.
What's going on? What you got to add about this conversation?
Do you know what today is?
Your birthday?
It's my anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yes. I have been looking at some of this stuff, and I'm really frustrated on a whole bunch of different levels. I think, Lucky, you said that this is for entertainment, but a lot of people don't know that it is for entertainment. Some people can't differentiate between the two, because I say that young man, I think he was 22 years old, called that, reached out to that lady, and he was like, I had to do it. Are you out of your mind? I had to show my support. I had to do this. And so even Abba tried to bring it back full circle. So, what if somebody reached out to your sister or your mom, you be ready to go in. Excuse my dog. He's whining. Stop it. But again, I think I'm really disappointed, and maybe I'm just too old, and my morals and my standards are just too high. But there's no responsibility or accountability for what people are saying to each other and how they're saying it to each other. The things they're putting out on the internet, on these channels, because again, it is for entertainment, but some people don't know the difference. So you have people like the Fresh and Fits who go off on these females, and they are marginalizing them and relegating them to sexual objects. And they're not talking about substantive matters like, about relationships. They're just talking about, banging and all that kind of stuff, so, and then these young men are going out, I'm going to do that. Or we get men on platforms calling them buttercup.
Oh, wow.
Where's the shots fired? Shots fired.
There we go.
We're disrespecting men, and then those who want to jump on the bandwagon are doing the same thing because people are not thinking for their damn selves. It's problematic. Yeah. And we wonder why what do you mean? We wonder why. I looked at the comments. I had to stop doing. I'm about to go in on somebody. But anyway, we wonder why, our society is so jacked up. There's no temperance. There is no humility. There is no, maybe I messed up. I'm sorry. Like Freezy said, but no but. Because the moment you say but, it negates everything you said just before it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm pissed.
Can I ask
on my anniversary? Yeah.
I totally agree.
Okay, you said I totally understand you have a responsibility based on the audience, as everyone does, but are these not adults? So it's kind of like, why is it my responsibility to help you decipher if this is how I think and I'm making a space? I told you I'm optimistic. If I'm making a space and this is what I believe, kind of like Kevin Samuels, a lot of women are against him, saying, aren't you aware of the men that listen to you and they won't understand the context? He's like, I don't, he doesn't really care. His message is his message. So what I'm saying is, if you're listening and you can't decipher the two, or you want to go out in the world and talk like Myron, your response is going to be different. But that's your choice. I don't think it's people on a platform responsibility to kind of coddle people listening every single time because they may mimic something, or it's kind of like you should have a brain for yourself.
I disagree. I disagree.
No.
I'm gonna tap in after.
Please allow me.
Go ahead. I'll go after.
All right, we're gonna go to Lauren.
Okay, there are levels of adulthood. There are levels. Someone that is 18 years old is considered an adult. They can go to jail. They can go to the army, but they don't know shit. There are levels to this thing. The levels also have do with your experience out in the world, interacting with people. Let's think about the fact that this 22-year-old, his only form of communication that he probably has ever known is letting his fingers do the typing. So unless you have someone guiding you and saying, just take it for what it's worth. And again, everybody doesn't think like me. I get that, because many people who start off on these channels did not anticipate they would be as large as they were. But at some moment, when you find out that people are really tuning into you and they're taking your advice, they are looking to you for leadership and guidance, whether it is misguided or not, it requires some self-reflection. It requires some self-awareness.
Yeah, for me, it's the proclamation that they make, right? We provide the truth to dating, fitness, social media, finances, and overall male improvement. This is their proclamation. This is what's on their YouTube profile, their about page. So if you're new, if you're out here proclaiming to, spew the truth and share male improvement, there is some responsibility that you should take. That's just my opinion. If it was entertainment, then they'll say, we're here for kicks and giggles. We bring people on. We talk about hot topics. Then that's what you should say. But that's not what they're proclaiming at all. But go ahead, Courtney.
Yeah.
All right, TJ, I got to get some more people on.
You have a good evening.
All right,
I'll say this too. From who's much is given, much is required. And so when you do have a platform, you do have some obligations, and there is some responsibilities that you have to take on when you have a platform. And the reason that another reason why I have a problem with the fresh and fit debacle is because they doxed that lady, that Ann Quinn. They doxed her. They know that they have these wild fans, and they still do now. I look at reading the comments throughout these past couple of days, and a lot of them are loony.
Even now,
I'm sure they in the comments right now. I don't care. But they told their fans, go talk mad crazy shit about her, not knowing that she's pregnant or not knowing her well-being. A lot of people were saying if she's pregnant, she needs to get off the internet or whatever. Well, that's her job. She is a social media influencer. That's how she gets paid. Anyways, so they went to her page and harassed her continuously, and I'm sure they're continuously harassing her, and it only took them to say that for 5 seconds, and they had thousands of these very impressionable adults going in and harassing her. That's wrong. To use your power to intimidate, harass other people because you can at the drop of the dime is ignorant and foolish, and they need to be held accountable for it.
All right, Carlo, before I go to you, Lola and Gary in the background, make sure y'all come on camera. Otherwise, you guys are not coming to the top. Carlo, go ahead. You're on mute. No, I can't hear you. No, I'm mute. Can't hear you for some reason. No, we can't hear you. All right, you can fix it. I'm gonna bring you back. I'll bring you back. See if we can correct the issue. All right.
Have you guys seen that there's a woman saying that she's pregnant by Myron?
Yeah, I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was. What was
y'all got all the tea.
That was Gray. But Trey, we can't hear you either.
What's going on, Trey? No, we can't hear you. I'm about to take you back out, brother.
Hey, JR, say one thing.
Go ahead.
One thing I always disagreed with the red pill community and the manosphere stuff, whatever. They always push this narrative like even when you're married, a high value man, he's capable of having sex with other women, and the wife should be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? They always make it seem like high value men, it's okay for them to have sex with other women. And I never agree with that. It's like making, it's almost like setting up this world of power. You're a high value man and you this Lex Luger type character, and you can have sex with these women if you choose to because you're a high value man. That's your privilege. I never agreed with that because I always looked at that as whoring women out, plain and simple. You agree with whoring women out. You shouldn't be doing that, man. You shouldn't be doing that. I just wanted to say that.
I don't think it's to that level. I don't think high value men or people that are in the red pill are saying, hey, because I'm high value, which majority of them are not, I can have sex with anyone. What is exercising options? So it's like these particular men have the options too. They usually don't. Matter of fact, when you speak to high value men, they tell you, I don't have time to entertain women. I understand, that I'm focused on business first. My wife is there for me to be with my program, but majority of the high value men are not out there just having sex with random women.
No, I didn't say they're out there doing it, but the usual story is the usual story is, Courtney, is okay. Let's say, for example, a guy is married, and then it's not unusual for a guy to take a overseas trip, and whatever the wife doesn't know, she just doesn't know. It's not uncommon for him to take a trip out of the country and play around for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They throw this out there like this should be, you know, I just don't feel like that's responsible for one. I just don't feel like that's responsible. And I just want to say the reason why Myron and Fresh feel so, you know, they feel so good about acting the way they do is because they bought into that narrative. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we're high value men and we can fuck who we want to fuck. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna come on my show, we can you fuck me.
Well,
fuck me, gonna come on my show.
I disagree with that narrative. And let me tell you, is that these high value men, their wives, the wives know. The wives know if they're going to Colombia or something's going to pop off. The wives know. So it's not that the wives are dumbfounded and blinded. These high value men, they understand that they can be honest and let their women know, hey, you know, if I do decide to exercise option, I would definitely let you know. And I will make sure that I don't get a disease, don't get pregnant. Myron, again, reason why he's not high value. So, I mean, there's also rules to that as well. So I don't think it's like I can cheat, I can do whatever. It's those relationships are completely different.
All right, let me get Bolo in. Come on, Bolo. What's going on?
Hey, brother. Hey, how you doing, guys? Good night. How's everyone doing?
What's up, Bo?
Hey, what's going on? I don't have my glass of wine because I didn't know y'all was coming on tonight. So I'm freestyling right now. What I would like to say is first off, let's just get the women out of the way as far as saying that, you know, these women that go up on these guys' channels, they walk in eyes wide open. You know, it's a bartering system in the aspect of they're up there to, you know, accentuate or try to advertise, that's a better word, advertise their OnlyFans or whatever they got going in conjunction of getting something from these two guys. Now, if what's being said is true, now that we got the women out of the way, these guys pick subpar women and they put them on this panel to represent all women so that it can push their narrative of saying this game that we're pushing, it works. When you have these women that don't know how to think, just like you have men that don't know how to think, so this is not an attack on women. Understand that they're bringing these women up. They tell them on the back end from what they're saying that we're coming up here to talk about this narrative, and then Myron will have a pad of all these different things that he brings them up on and kind of ambush them with information, right? So it pushes the narrative that my game, it works on these women. Now, what we need to understand is when you know who you are as a man, you don't need game because this is who you are. These dudes are giving you a script. It's not who they are. And then when you're looking at the bigger picture, the life that they say that they're living, they're not. So this is the onus is on these women to start vetting people correctly. Even better, start vetting them. Start looking at the red flags and start moving and taking accountability for what they do. When you're talking about these type of guys that are like this, again, I don't know if it's true or not, but there's a lot of people saying it. This dude, if he did what he said or what they're saying he did, he's a predator. That's a predator. Mm-hmm. This dude, I agree. He looked for a weaker woman that didn't have the thought process or the experience of these older women that would look at you and go, Duke, you ain't what you say you are. You straight fugazi, bro. I'm out. They look for these weaker women and then they parade them in front of the world. And these weaker men, these hurt men, these men that don't want to take ownership of who they are, look at them and say, hey, this is working. When I think I heard that 2 years ago, he was in the audience taking notes. 2 years later, he's a teacher. I don't know what college course he went to, but usually it's 4 years before you get your degree. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to understand why, especially when you listen to most of the men in the manosphere. It's not all. There are men in the manosphere that are saying, men, before you go out there and get these chicks, before you go out there and get these women, make sure you bolster yourself up. Make sure you get yourself right. Make sure you do the work first. But these dudes are not saying that. These dudes tell you get your passport right, go out there and smash these chicks, get this game. Before you get to talk to a woman, you got to at least have 35 women under your belt. This is what I've heard them say. You got to have at least vetted 35 women before you get into a relationship. They don't tell these men before you even step to a woman. Understand who you are as a man. Understand that. Because the way a woman falls in love with me is by me loving myself, because that's what I'm giving her. Because when I love a woman as I love myself, I'm going to have integrity. There's a certain way I'm going to treat her. There's a certain way I'm going to reverence her. And they're not giving these things to these women. Now, this kind of conversation will make me be called a simp. and I'll be called weak. But this is the problem. I don't have those issues with my wife. I don't have that issue. My value in my household ain't predicated on what type of bread I make. And believe me, I make good money. But it's not predicated on that. It's predicated on how I am the example. That's the point. And this is what people are not understanding and people are not getting. Right. People are thinking that this red pill thing is about game. Game will only get you so far. What will get you further and always make you win is you being you. So until you can be you and present that to the woman and let her make a choice to submit, these dudes keep getting it twisted. Submission is a choice that a woman has to give and offer to her man. When you get a woman to submit to you by you being you, there's nothing more powerful than that. Nothing more powerful than that. So, brothers, what I'm going to tell you is the onus is on you to learn who you are, to learn what your value is, so you can go out there and get your worth. Not demand it. Go out there and get your worth. And women, the same damn thing. Learn what your value is so you can go out there and get your worth, so that you know when these guys are spitting garbage at you. This is why the Lord tells you when you find a wife. How did I find a wife? Because she was brought up to be one. How do you find a husband? He was brought up to be one. So understand it. And young men, I understand you've been hurt. I understand that you love that woman and she broke your heart. I get it, bro. I've been there before. I've been there. What you need to do, life is meant to be lived forward but understood backward. Learn from your mistakes. That's where the growing comes from. That's where the understanding comes from. Growth is never comfortable. So you have to understand that you played a part. So if what she is saying is true, they both played a part. They both used each other. But here's the thing, men, in this world, the world caters to women more than men. See, she's going to be okay, because if that is her, his baby, she's going to make about $1 million by the time the child is 21. She's going to be good. Hopefully his business is able to bounce back. So the world don't look at men the same way it looks at women. And this is what we have to respect and understand. Society is a weak excuse for men, a weak excuse. And the reason why I say, and I blame men, let me explain why I do this. And then I'll get off the panel.
Real quick, yeah.
Real quick, and I'll get off. You have to understand that men are the fire when it comes to the relationship, because if you have a woman that's out of order and children that are out of order, if she gets a man that is in order, I guarantee you, as soon as that man comes in that house, you'll see a difference. You'll see a difference. So that's how important good men are. Right. So you leaders, watch what you're doing, because the Lord's going to get you too. JR, thank you. People have a blessed night. Thank you for allowing me on.
Oh, you too.
Bye, Lola.
All right, I'm trying to Lola, you there? You got to come on camera. Lola, you wasting space.
Jeez.
What's going on, TJ?
What's going on with y'all?
TJ. Hi, darling.
How y'all doing? How you doing, Courtney?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Let me see what you got to say.
Look, I'm gonna be quick. You know what I'm saying? I ain't with the bullshit, but I gotta speak on it, bro. Because when I first seen it, bro, I had been paying attention to this. What's the little nigga name to the left?
Who?
Myron, right? Like when the camera come on, what's the nigga name? I don't know. The dude to the left.
What, Myron and Fresh?
Fred, yeah.
Yeah, Fresh. I ain't worried about him. But Myron though, Myron is a guy that got a whole lot to say. And when I first looked at the show, strictly the only reason I looked was because Kevin Samuels was on there. That's it. Like other than that, I wasn't really paying it on mine. But I was like, damn, this nigga tough, man. Like he too tough for me. Like if he have a disagreement with a woman, he just get a lot of bass in his voice and bass in his chest. And it's like, bro, they women at the end of the day. You ain't gotta agree, but like my guy, like, so I knew something was wrong then. Then I see the Abba and Preach situation. And I watched it before I did a response. But when I saw how Abba and Preach handled that situation, I was like, see, this is what the manosphere don't have enough of. Like, it's too much of this energy towards women, which I get. Like Bolo said, we've been hurt, we've been through shit. I get it. But at the end of the day, man, everybody get hurt. You got to man up at some point, but you can't blame everybody for your issues. And it exposed one thing to me: real men and bitch ass boys. Just facts, man. It ain't no other way to look at it to me, because you can say all these arguments to figure out what you want to, because sometimes logic is so flawed you can make it work however you want to make it work. I ain't paying attention to the logic. I'm looking at the nigga, the man, and I'm seeing, bro, these dudes is not men, bro. They talking about game, nigga. Is you serious? Talking about some game because you got some cheese, bro? You know how many broke dudes pulling? Y'all complain about these broke niggas getting all these women pregnant, but then you want to flip the vice versa and talking about you getting money. Man, if you don't get your Jap ass out of here, bro, we ain't rocking with none of that, bro. That's all I wanted to say, bro. I ain't rocking with these. These ain't men. These dudes, these males, bro, these ain't men, bro. We ain't rocking like that. That's why I respect the people at Talk Show. Y'all take it.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. And I find it interesting too, because even when the women are on there, they make it a purpose to get them drunk. So of course, these drunk women are going to act crazy because they're drunk, because they feed them alcohol. Well, yeah, they get them drunk, and then it's confused is when they act crazy, and then all of a sudden let's kick them out, and that's kind of like a thing. So I mean, it's all strategic for entertainment.
Right. What's going on, Carlo? You there?
Yeah.
You got it fixed.
Bolo said something that's profound, and he said life is lived forward and understood backward. All right, let's go to church. If you go to church, different religions, we have different levels of understanding. You go to church, you hear one sermon, and everybody come up with a different understanding. That's why Kevin Samuels said what he said. I am not accountable for how you understand things. I am accountable for what I say. So if somebody took it and twisted it left or right, they could come at him, and he usually says, he corrects them, you know, with what they're saying or what they got wrong, right? So here we are. Life is lived forward, understood backward. Those boys are young. What you're seeing there with those young men they represent a lot of what this manosphere is serving. There's a lot of young men that experience whatever they experience from a young age. They are not getting results, and they're noticing a change, and there's a fever pitch building. And there's a lot of things they're just not understanding. This is why these guys, they're coming with a I heard Courtney or somebody say before that, or whoever said that, they take some of Kevin Samuels' talking points. There's another guy, they took a few from him, but there's a guy that's a regular on their show, Rolo Tomasi and all these other guys, right? So they go with that. And there's the entertainment piece of it, and there's also the educational piece that they do during the day, where they're teaching finances, credit, real estate, all this good stuff. So that young man, that Stan, that went into felt compelled to go into the young lady's inbox, he's one of those that took some of those educational materials, and it changed his life in that regard. He helped him tap into some financial stuff. So he's very motivated, right? Anyway, off of that, let's get back to it. What I think about what's going on here, I align with you where there's something flawed about their character, where they're looking at the manosphere as something that should be close-knit, and they're not allowing for reproach. And Abba and Preach are not in the manosphere. These are men or individuals that look at topics objectively and bring rationale to the chaos that is going on today. So Abba and Preach did what they do with anybody's content. They take a look at it. They point out what their observations are. There's no beef. There's nothing personal. And that's all it is. You have viewers, such as the viewers you have here, shared some content, and Abba and Preach responded to it. And that's what they created the content for. Myron got wind of it and Fresh. And this is what started this thing. Regarding the stuff with the ladies, I think for me, before I comment on something, I like to do long length. So when I first was introduced to Kevin Samuels, I started consuming his entire shows so I could understand his perspective. So I did the same thing with all of this. And I think there was some twisting going on by the young ladies. And this live stream they did last night, they laid out time and context to some of the things he said. No, I don't rock with everything he did, but I understand the timeline. And I think when you decide you want to deal with people as dispendable or disposable, you gotta go. You should just stop talking to them. So that's it.
I want to ask you a question. Were you able to catch the question and answer yesterday?
I just finished watching it and I went and checked out the lead attorney, and I saw some clips with Abba and the stand. So I went ahead and consumed a lot of it, and I've checked them out I've been watching them for a while since Kevin, like most of you, was on there. I've checked them out. I don't agree. I can't relate to everything they say. However, I can see why people do, and there are some things they say that have validity to them. So that's my take on that.
Man, let's get one thing straight about this manosphere and red pill. It's been getting a bad rap. Personally, I like the manosphere. I never really was on board with this manosphere bullshit before Kevin Samuels, but I like the manosphere and I like the red pill talk. But let's get one thing straight. Every man in the manosphere is not the same. You can't link Freezy with Myron. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's not the same. So
correct.
I like the manosphere talk because actually, especially for the black man, because it makes the black man want to level up. There's nothing negative about that. You know what I'm saying? But we have to level up the right way. You feel what I'm saying? We can't just go with these sleazy narratives where I got money, so you need to do what I tell you to do. That's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Some bullshit, man.
The red pill situation we have here. When I listen to some people try to explain it, I think they get it wrong. I think some of you may have gotten it. I think Amir was asked about it one time. I'm not sure, but you guys remember watching The Matrix?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
remember that scene where Morpheus handed him the red and the blue pill?
Yeah.
Red pill really just means allowing yourself to see past the facade and look at things as they really are. The unpleasant reality of life, right? Now I do want to say something that I pointed out. Courtney.
Yes.
What you're noticing Myron is doing, Myron is expecting everybody to stay on code. That's what it looks like. He wants everybody
that because I don't know.
That is what he's doing. He's expecting everybody to call him behind the scenes, talk about things, and not address him or confront him in front of everybody. That's staying on code. Also, it makes sense now because Myron he was a former federal agent, which is why he never gave his real name. Now that he has, according to him, he cannot go back to his career. So at risk of that option, he exposed that. This is what he said last night. So that's a part of that code. So when the conversations have been happening here where it's been said code is not good, you just looked at why it's not good.
Well, let's clarify too, because I mean, there's different types of code. Like I said, police have code. Is it a good thing? Not necessarily. So there's different types of code. However, with Myron, he did get spoken to off camera. O'Shea talked to him for hours long. That was not on camera. Poor Man Podcast talked to him off camera and had respect enough not to mention some of the stuff because he was told not to until he had the question and answer. So I know Alpha Male Strategies talked to him offline. So he was being spoken to offline. So if we're talking about code, okay, they were also in code. The thing is, it depends on what happens when code has to be broken, when you're using sex, you're using your platform for sex, and you're getting thoughts pregnant, but yet you want to have a whole show about not wife and hoes, but you impregnate one. It's just, now it's like, okay, you're making the name for the Black manosphere, you're trashing it right now because a lot of stuff that's going on, they don't believe in. And now they're speaking up saying, no, they don't represent us. But no, he was talking to behind closed doors by a whole lot of people before those questions answered, and a whole lot of this came out.
Speaking, when I mentioned that regarding, he's upset with Abba and Preach because he expected Abba and Preach to treat him the way everybody else was doing behind closed doors. So that's where that's concerned, where he feels away. That's where that comes in.
And and I can't necessarily, I could understand why they would feel a certain way, especially if they thought they had some camaraderie amongst each other because they were on their show. So I can't take that from him. I would probably feel a way if 3 months later I had someone on my show and then they want to critique me. So I totally get it.
Yeah, those young men have some growing and some maturing to do.
It's just the response,
and that's why I mentioned what Bolo said, understood backward, live forward and understood backward.
The
other thing when you mentioned about the sex,
last point, Carlo.
Sure, the thing you mentioned about sex, that interaction with that young lady, as I paid attention to the timeline, happened before they adjusted their format. He was not right for that. And as they continued their show, they had to separate how they interact with women. So they had someone else interact with women because the first 2 women that they had on the show, first sets, those were girls they dated. That wasn't their format before. It was a suggestion, let's try it. But those women were not, but they were biased. So what they did is they changed their format, and normally, as I'm understanding it, they don't interact with the woman that way. However, this young lady that this other thing is coming about, what's her name? Simone or Cheeks, the young lady. That young lady was unstable. And the fact that he went ahead and chose to interact with her, bruh, hold on. I can't. That's questionable, and he's looking at her as disposable. So thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Carlos.
All right, go ahead. Luck, you got a question for Freezy?
Yeah, he mentioned something that I just want him to elaborate on. He said that I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but you implied that Fresh and Fit should be doing it the right way, basically teaching men the right way. Do you think that the right way is determining on what that particular person want their outcome to be? Like, what if that's for a group of men that the right way to them is to get money and just F thoughts? That's winning to them. Like, I'm just curious, like, what's the right way according to you?
The right way is what's best for the community as a whole, man. It's, you know what I'm saying? I'm about the community. I'm not about one man versus the other man. I'm about how can our community
really?
Yeah, how can our community level up as a whole? And the only way to do that is to have a universal talking point. You know, that's why I kind of like what Amir was saying early on when she first got on the podcast about their community. You know, it has to be some kind of structure. You can't tell one guy to go fuck some hoes and another guy to go to college. You know what I'm saying? That's just too inconsistent, man. It's got to be a universal talking point that's going to help all men as a whole. You feel what I'm saying? That's the problem, man. You know, we got too many guys with too many different faces out here. It's two-faced dudes out here, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why we thought that Myron and Fresh was one way on camera, but then they get discovered as frauds. That's why this shit go on, because they be fake from the jump. You know what I'm saying? We just don't know them in their personal lives. They wasn't real from the start. Not like Freezy. I don't care if you like me or not. I'm not the most articulate guy. I'm not the most intelligent guy. But one thing I do have is substance. You know what I'm saying? To the root of it.
Tell him, Freezy. Tell him, Freezy.
I just wanted you to go in. I wanted you to go in for a minute.
Well,
go ahead.
Is that not code and what you're talking about? It should be a particular thing where we all kind of agree with and be like, once we see behaviors that's going against it, we need to check it.
No, that's not code. That's responsibility. You feel what I'm saying? That's responsibility for our community.
Oh, that's code. That's code.
There's a code. Let me tell you. If there's no code, you can't say. Just like what Lucky said. Well, if there's men that want to have sex with multiple women and that's what they deem as success for them, then how can you say that's wrong? That's what they want to do.
What's code about that?
That's their code.
Okay, let's just say the manosphere, and they have this one essence of them where they're like, hey, we're going to make sure that we get our men together health-wise, financial-wise. We're going to make sure that we teach them how to pick the right woman, and we're all following this particular logic. And if you go outside of that logic, then you're going to get checked. That's because you're going outside of what we deem that our Black communities should look like.
I guess I'm not on code. Like I said on Lapeef's show, I'm not about no code. I'm about what's right and what's wrong. You feel what I'm saying? It's not about code of
conduct. It's a code of conduct.
Okay, I agree with you on that.
All right, go ahead.
But I just want to say, I don't agree. Just to add my last point, Courtney, I do agree with the code of conduct theory, but I don't agree that code of conduct is the same thing as what you were trying to describe as code, like black code. I don't agree that they're the same.
Well, every community has a particular code of conduct or a belief system that they feel like their community. I know this is what's going to make us right. Yeah. So let's go on that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, Trey Dukes, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How y'all doing?
Okay, I heard that, Amir.
I came over here.
I heard it.
Huh?
I was talking to Amir.
Oh yeah, I came over here to kind of fit, but I kind of disagree with most of the things y'all said. I'm gonna get into the point that I wanted to make. I think the thing that I took from the whole freshman fit situation, and I spoke to Anson about this morning, was that I feel like Myron is, like they said, they got too big, too fast. And when I see Myron, I see a guy that's really trying to replicate like what Future is to the hip hop community. Like if you look at what he did as far as that Anna Quinn situation, Future did the exact same thing a couple years ago. Y'all remember I'm Good, Love, and Joy? He invited a woman out without context. He invited to fly her out, and when she flew out, she didn't know what she was there for, and he pretty much implied that he wanted to have sex with her. And when she wasn't down with it, he said, "I'm good, love, and joy." Myron thought that he was a superstar. But the thing is, Myron needs to understand. And I've watched their show. I'm still subscribed. I'm not unsubscribing. I don't ride waves. I'm not unsubscribing from no one, but Myron needs to understand he's not a superstar. He's not Kevin Samuels. He's not Future. He's not a rock star. He can't move like that. And he represents, like what I think Carlo was saying before, he represents the red pill community in a way that when you get caught doing something like that, I'm not going to pretend like they don't do that in entertainment all the time. Selena Powell had a YouTube video describing how women in the industry understand that when a rock star or a rap star flies you out somewhere, you know what you're coming there for. But see, what he did was he fished her in one way, hey, you coming for a collaboration, and then out of nowhere, you're like, oh, this ain't platonic. Huh? I'm like, bro, what are you? Wait, that to me, that's corny. And the thing is, another point I wanted to make is, I think across all these platforms, we need to stop pretending like we just expected these guys to hold up any type of character. I've been watching their show for a minute, and everything that's come out about Myron so far, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by any of this. He's using his platform to get women. He told us exactly who he was throughout every show. And I can say that because I've watched the show. I don't watch the full live streams, but I mean, the whole Smash That Girl Raw thing was unbelievable. Now that I didn't see that coming.
Right.
That was ridiculous. And the chick that he did it with, I'm like, she looked like a psychopath when she was on the show. So I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. But I mean, I just wanted to get y'all thoughts on that. Why are we talking about character and integrity when it comes to these guys when they were never about that from the jump? These guys been coaching men to be womanizers. They've said that on every show since they started.
But Trey, when you hear the word truth, like we're preaching truth often comes with integrity. Like these are words that are often grouped together. Like when I hear truth, I'm expecting integrity. I'm expecting, So this is, and I'm not making, and I'm not making this up. This is what they have on their page, in their about page. Like they are, and truth is in capital letters. So why would we not expect them to be men of integrity?
As a guy who self-proclaimed speak a lot of truth, and I've had to grow up in a lot of situations, you can speak truth while also trying to tear people down. I don't think that's great character, and I used to do it. And so I've had to manage myself, and that's why I'm glad I discovered the Red Pill community, because the biggest thing I've taken away from it is accountability. So I think there's some truth in some things that they're saying, but it's like y'all said, they bring on a bunch of quote unquote insta thought onto their show, and so I never expected great character from anybody. But it's like I don't go to their show looking for marriage not marriage counseling, but marriage advice. I go to Kevin Samuels for that. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you a question? I'm sorry.
You got to ask them one question and get a response.
I just wanted to know, how do you tell someone the truth, but also what you just said, like it turns out bad for them? I thought the truth, kind of like what she said, is supposed to help them because it's the truth.
Meaning that in times in my own past, trying to be accountable on myself, where I've told somebody the truth and where it was the tone in which I said it or the way about I went was unnecessary, where it wasn't even needed. Like, I don't want to give any prime examples, but like,
you're fine. I didn't know it was that deep. You're fine.
Okay. Yeah, just going about it in a way that I know is going to be less productive for that person, because you can tell it's more about a shock factor and less about giving this person the truth so they can grow. So I think, yeah, they speak a lot of truth, but they do it in ways that's really toxic, kicking girls out, stuff like that. And sometimes he's justified, in certain situations, but it's for entertainment. And that's why I can only take so much of it. That's why I was telling Anton this morning, I'm disappointed in the amount of, like y'all said, the cult following that everyone has. I'm going to unsubscribe here, unsubscribe there. You're supposed to chew the meat, spit out the bones, take what's important to you. Because I don't listen to everything everybody says. Nobody on YouTube I'm loyal to, and it's just a complete gossip.
Oh, really? Well, let me ask a quick question, because I think it's interesting that you're saying, yeah, I'll watch it just for entertainment, but these guys are not of good character and they don't have integrity, and I don't believe them, and they like thoughts. Mm. Okay, so do you have no problem with the Love and Hip Hop Basketball Wives? You don't have any problem with that genre because it's just for entertainment?
I don't watch it, and I do feel like it puts on a bad image for our women, but I think it puts on a bad image for the women who are on that show, and the bad image for them themselves. Yeah.
But you have no problem with it though. You're like, well, it's just entertainment. I know these people don't have any kind of integrity and they're making the image of us look trash. You have no problems with that.
When you say, do I have no problem with that? Do I have any negative things to say about Love and Hip Hop and their show? Absolutely, yes. But like I said before, I think there's some truth in the things that they say. Like, prime example, they recently had a stream about sexual assault. That's just when there were no girls on that show. I watched that show, but I don't always watch their show. And well, anyway, I don't want to get into all of that, but yeah, I mean, you're right. You have a point. I agree with your point. You can't critique women for watching Love and Hip Hop,
And then we're celebrating and you're watching the same thing that we talk about love and hip hop. So it's hypocrisy.
I'm not celebrating anything that they do. I've never wanted to promote anything that they do. All I'm saying is there's some of the messages that I've latched onto their show that led me to subscribe, and here and there I'll watch their show. But I mean, you're right. You know what I'm saying? Love and hip hop. It's there's negative things, and if I'm a hypocrite for saying that, I'll accept that. You know, fine.
Okay. All right, Trey Dukes. I got some other people on there. I appreciate you calling in.
All right, cool.
All right.
Can I just say something really quickly? Because I've been thinking this whole time when everyone was speaking. And he was speaking about how these people, they say the truth and you should just take the meat and spit the bones. These people do not live the same way that they're saying. That the message that they're speaking is Kevin Samuel's message. Okay, that's not... And he's talking about how it's not right for men, or especially high value men, which they put themselves in that category. It's not right for men to buy sex. Yet he had his what is it called? The website, the sugar daddy website, and he's talking about he's just completely backwards. So how can you listen to someone knowing that they don't actually live the lifestyle that they're talking about? And how can you truly believe what they're saying? That's why I don't understand what you're saying. It's for entertainment. How are you entertained by that? To me, that's not entertaining at all. It's just idiocracy.
And
that's
also,
kind of like politics. I mean, most politicians who get up there and say certain things, they get exposed for not living the same life. But most people defend them. There's a lot of people that people listen to that don't live the same way that they're talking. I mean, pastors, I mean, a lot of things, but they have a following. And sometimes what they're saying could be the truth. Like, I could be.
But does that make it right? I mean, are you still knowing what's happening with a pastor? You might not know. You can maybe guess. But with these people, you know that they're doing the opposite of what they're talking about. How can you have any credibility? Where's the credibility?
I agree, but I was just speaking on the fact that you can definitely be telling. I'm just saying in general. You can definitely be telling someone the truth. Like a drug addict could be telling you, Amir, do not take this while they're high. That doesn't mean that what they're telling you isn't the truth. They're just a sucker to it, I guess.
They would have low credibility to me too, because if they say it's so bad, yet they're enjoying it so much, I'm gonna be like, is it really that bad? Because it looks like you're enjoying it.
Yeah, to me,
does it look like they
to me, it makes me question the validity of every other subject matter that they speak on, right? They don't just speak on relationships, but they also claim to speak about finances and all of these different things. Like, why would I feel like I can believe what they're telling me to do with my money if you are out here like okay with like living this lie like as a relationship guru? Like at this point, I can't believe anything you're saying.
Okay. Martinez, what's going on, bro? What you got for us?
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen?
Hi.
How's it going? So the first thing I'm gonna say is that to any of the males out there who are saying that everything they're doing for entertainment purposes, that's part of the problem. Like the minute you decide that you want to be in the position to where you want to start charging people for classes on something, as a man, there's an integrity behind that. You can't go out and just say, oh, we gonna be out here, just fuck these hoes, do this and do that, and then turn around and say, I'm gonna charge you $1,000 for my finance class. If you're gonna charge $1,000 for a finance class, then that means the way you teach in that finance class is the same way as a man. You got to stand up with your character and you got to hold that podcast. Like, that's the problem. I got real disappointed, honestly, because I'm going to say some things here, because earlier they were talking about the Stan who did what they did with that lady. I actually defended that guy because it wasn't so much I defended what he did. I understood why he did it. Because what's being failed to realize is that these young guys are out here looking for guidance. And the fact that they found some guidance in some guys that are around their age range who is doing good and doing successful, and they feel that they're helping them, they're going to stick behind them no matter what. So I got real disappointed with the fact that these guys are not moving like men to be doing what it is they're doing, because these young guys need to learn how to move as men first. We can teach these guys how to get money, how to get assets, and how to handle women. But what does all that mean if they don't know how to walk, talk, and act accordingly like men? What does that mean? And the whole premise is getting misunderstood. That's why I've gotten real disappointed with the manosphere, because I'm like, it really doesn't sound like the way of teaching to be men is what's being taught here. It's all just being taught about get your success up, get your money up, get your finances, get this, get that. But has any of these guys asked these dudes how many times a week you take your garbage out or you clean your bathroom up? Like, are we asking questions that really solidify if these men are men first before we start teaching them finances? Because a guy can make $1 million, but if he's a weirdo making $1 million, he's just going to be a weirdo with $1 million.
Well, Martinez, I don't think there's nothing wrong with talking about finances, because even the Bible says the purpose for a man is to provide. So that's our biggest purpose, while we're living, for a man to provide for his woman and for himself.
But the way you're taking that is that I'm saying not to teach about finances at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I said was, before you get to that level, find out if these guys are walking, talking, and acting accordingly like men first.
I agree.
Because that's the problem. Like, did you see how many of these young guys were defending that activity that happened?
Listen, let's be clear. Martinez. Let's be clear. If none of this wouldn't have surfaced, people would have still been praising those guys, and people would have still been listening to their podcasts and everything.
And that's the even sadder part, because me as a guy who's just an outsider looking at everything, I watched one episode of these guys like 5 months ago for 10 minutes. And I looked at them and I was like, these guys are some weirdos. That's 10 minutes watching them.
What the problem is, just like Chicago Real always say, these guys ain't one thou wow, 10 toes down. You feel what I'm saying? You got to be
me and real script, we from the same place. So we
you got to be thorough. If you're gonna be a dude out here, I don't hang around dudes like that. All my dudes thorough. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You got to be thorough out here from the jump. You know what I'm saying? So guys that's not thorough, they're gonna end up exposing themselves anyway. Just all you got to do is put the timer on. Just put the little clock on, the hourglass, it's gonna say boom.
All right, Martinez, on a point.
And then the last thing I'm gonna say is that what amazed me the most is the fact that how so many of these elder guys who got these YouTube channels was validating them.
I don't know what happened, man. Sound like you've been. I can't hear you. I don't know what happened.
I got a call, but y'all have a good day.
All right. What happened?
We got a call.
He got a call, so have a good day.
Okay, gotcha. What's going on, Ray?
Hey, Ray. Good. How are you?
I'm good.
All right, what you got for us?
I love the platform.
Thank you.
Say that first and foremost. But I watch all these platforms. I watch y'all. I watch Kevin Samuels. I watch Fresh and Fit. O'Shea. I watch all of y'all. So
OJ.
I'm everywhere.
What? But, I was like, OJ got something. Let me find out. Killer.
I don't want to come on here and act like I'm defending marrying them, because I'm not. But they do have some things that they do bring out that is positive. Like, they hold men accountable. They teach younger guys to be better. They do. They teach younger guys to be better versions of themselves, because they say that young guys, if they're not financially stable, then they shouldn't be dating. So they give like men like a range. I think they say it like 30.
Hey, Breck, actual age?
I'm 40. I don't look 40.
No, I was just kind of surprised you said that they hold me in account. I never watched none of their shows, really. I mean, I kind of watched a glimpse of it, but
me too.
I just can't get rid of it. Well, if you're saying you too, then how you figure they hold me accountable?
I mean, because I watch some of the shows, like, I watch like a few of them.
You're not making no sense right now, man.
A whole show. I'll watch a whole show.
You just said you watch glimpses of it.
Well, glimpses, but I don't mean like I watch y'all on a regular. I watch y'all like every Thursday. I don't watch.
He said consistently, Jr.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. Consistently, I don't watch it consistently. There you go. But they do say that they are going to hold younger guys accountable, and that they say if you're not on your financial grind, then you shouldn't be dating. And they give men a certain age. I think they agree with Kevin Samuels, where I think they say men should be like 35 to 40. And if you can't financially hold it down for a woman, you shouldn't be dating.
So what I'm hearing is, they're using Kevin Samuels' points to hold men accountable. So actually, Kevin Samuels is holding men accountable, not Fresh and Fit, right? They're taking his points and regurgitating them. And I haven't heard you say anything about this, like the dating scene. Like, yes, they're talking about financially where you should be, but again, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you finish. Let me mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, they also, what I disagree with them is about marriage, because I think marriage, his stance on marriage is way off. I think you should be married. I think a man shouldn't be married like what the Bible says. I think 30, a man doesn't become the man until he's 30 years old. Women, y'all grow up much faster. I think about 20 is when a woman becomes into her own. So I think that his stance on marriage, I waver from, because I don't think marriage is in his future. But that's where I stand when it comes to marriage. So I disagree with them when it comes to like the dating scene. Now, when they do bring women on there, the only time they do really kick women off of that show is when the women get highly disrespectful. And there are some women that don't respect their platform. So,
do you think that if it was a man on there getting disrespectful, that they would kick him off?
They did kick a man off about 3 weeks ago.
They have kicked the man off, but what Courtney was saying was that they kind of set up things so that it can get drama, like by giving the girls alcohol.
I agree with that. But I mean, I think they measure that too. Also, even with the alcohol, I think there's a certain level of alcohol that they can take. But you can tell when somebody is drunk because they kick drunk women off their shows also. But like I said, I'm not here to defend them because I like all of y'all. I'm just saying, I'm just bringing out some good points, and there is some bad points about them also that I disagree with. I don't think that marriage is for black men. I think his platform is more geared towards the younger white youth, to me, in my opinion. Because
did you hear what he said about? I'm sorry to cut you off. Did you hear what he said? How he kept referencing every time he referenced a black man, or whether it be preach, he kept on referencing apes and gorillas and calling him and his wife gorillas.
I am. But like I said, I'm not subscribed to his channel. I'm subscribed to this channel though. But like I said, I like some of the things that I watch it for entertainment purposes. I'm gonna keep it real. I watch it for entertainment purposes.
You just watch it for the women.
But not y'all. I watch y'all because I.
No, I know. I said you just watch their show for the women.
Oh no, I'm married.
That's
bro.
what it is.
Mine
is nothing because you're married. That means you can't look.
Mine isn't all the way black, right?
I don't want to look. I got my wife in there.
That's all good, man. You just told on yourself.
I ain't telling myself.
So you just call it entertaining.
What's hey yo, JR? What's Myers' nationality? What is he?
He's Lebanese. No. Is it?
He's African.
He's African. He's African, but
that's what he said. But I'm not sure if he was raised there, but that's what he said. If anybody else knows.
No, I'm joking. I'm just messing with you.
You're muted, Courtney.
All right, Ray.
I appreciate y'all.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
I was saying he's from Sudan.
Yeah, he's from Sudan.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people in Sudan I don't know. He's from Sudan.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, Courtney, what were you gonna say? You said you think that a lot of people from Sudan are what?
Well, from what I heard that, and I don't know if it's true, that's why I'm not speaking on it, but that he kind of says that he's more Arab.
Yeah, like Sudan, Eritrea, all that area, Sudan and Eritrea, they're kind of like Arabic. They speak Arabic in the country.
And I know he's Muslim. So, so I was like, we say he's African, but he doesn't call himself African.
He doesn't?
That's what I saw.
He does. He says he's the real African American. That's what he says.
What's going on, Quinn?
Okay.
Okay. Are you on mute? No, you're not on mute. I can't hear you. We can't hear you. You on mute now? Take it off. Try now. I don't know. I can't hear. I tell you what. I'm put you back in there. Figure it out, and I bring it right back up. All right. What's going on, our king?
Hey. Thanks for putting me in a good spot here between these two. Hey, it's a lovely sight that I'm looking at right now. All right, Courtney, this is the second time I've heard you say this. You keep talking about a code of conduct, and you keep conflating that with being on code. I hate to say it, but those are really two different concepts.
It's not.
Really
code is a code.
Yes, but one of them is an established code and the other one is an ad hoc thing thrown together, mostly for the sake of trying to defend some position that you don't want anybody to assail. That's usually what being on code is about.
No, code of conduct, it depends on where you are. Every job has a different code of conduct. There's different code. Well,
code of conduct is usually written. Code of conduct is something that's usually very, very contractual.
Well,
every time you go to a job, it's a contract. You walk into a country,
it's different.
It's a contract.
It's different kind of codes and codes of conduct. If you're talking about employment, yeah, they have some, but there's also a code or a different kind of culture that your work environment has that's not written in either. My particular job, we have a culture where it's things that they want us to do or not. It's not written down. It's just the culture of our employment. So it's different types of codes. And I do talk about codes a lot because I believe in them.
But it's important to make the distinction between
code
of conduct
and being
come on code.
That's why I say that, the Harvard voice.
Lauren, I believe you said something. You were mentioning something about truth and how Myron and Fresh are always talking about truth, or at least how they claim that they're talking about truth. Yeah. Truth is kind of deceptive at times. You can tell the truth. You can say things that are completely non-lies, and the net result being understood by everybody listening is a total lie.
That's a reach, our king.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a reach. Give me an example.
No, it's not a reach. Try thinking about the Bible. Try thinking about the situation in the Garden of Eden. Lucifer at the tree, right? He told them, it's like, you won't surely die. It's like he convinced them using only the words that were part of what was being said, that the thing that they were believing was not true.
But that was a half-truth. That wasn't the full truth. That was a
half-truth is a lie.
But that's just it.
A half-truth is a lie.
But that's just it. Was anything that he said false?
It is false because he didn't say the full thing.
No.
I get what he's saying.
What people understood from that was definitively false. Okay.
I get what he's saying. Are you
saying
saying
truth to project a lie?
What are you trying to? I've heard this in church. Are you saying because he said you won't surely die? That's when people start to die, but not as quickly as they thought. But you will die. Is that what you're trying to?
It'll eventually get you. They were thinking it's more like, okay, if we go to this tree, they were probably thinking something on the lines of, if we go to the tree in the middle of the garden and eat from this fruit, we're going to drop dead. Now, it's like that kind of situation happens all the time. It happens in politics. It's like some politician makes some promise, and then they make effort towards that promise, but can't complete it, knowing full well from the beginning they weren't going to be able to. But they made the promise and then they put forth the effort without gaining any fruit. It's like they did that just to get in office. They got what they wanted, but they essentially lied to the public indirectly by telling the truth that they were going to try.
No, I don't subscribe to that. A lie is a lie. You can have it dress up and be cunning and be deceptive and cover a lie, but a lie is a lie. The devil is
what I'm saying here is that there's a distinction between the lie being told and the lie being understood. Okay? You can say words that are true, and the net result that's understood by the person who's listening.
Arcane.
Yes.
Let me help you out, Arcane. If you tell me you're gonna try to do something, and the whole time you know you ain't gonna do shit, you lied from the jump, bro.
Well, yeah,
you lied from the jump, bro. I'm saying you can dress it up how you want to, but it's a lie, bro.
A lie is
yeah,
a lie.
but in this case,
A
what
lie
if
is
you
a
tell
lie,
somebody
bro.
you're going to try to do something and you try to do it, but you knew from the beginning that you weren't going to be able to succeed?
We gotta get final points in there. I guess.
Yeah, can you get to the? I guess. Yeah, I did speak about truth because that's what was listed. That's how they basically talk about their podcast. That's on their about page. That's how they, put their show out their ass. So
how does this relate to them? A lot of the things that they say are true in context. In context.
No.
And the problem is they try to lambaste it as if it's a general thing. Like they say a lot of things about women that I just look at and cringe because it's like, oh God, why are they saying this kind of stupidity? They're going to give people the wrong idea.
So it's a lie.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to see the example. What's the
I'm-
example?
Oh God, if I had to list examples, I would have. I'm a little bit like Kay on this one. If I'm going to list examples, I'm going to go back to the videos and I'm going to find details. I'm going to write notes and I will come back to
Run the tape.
with
Run
those
the tape.
details. That's exactly what I would do.
All right, cool. I'll be waiting.
I'm going to sit here and just quote.
All right, okay. I get couple more people
y'all have
on,
a good
man.
night.
Appreciate you. All right, now.
JR.
The thing he did something like this.
He said, "Now listen here, listen."
Yeah, love you, Arcane. Appreciate you, brother. All right.
Hey, what's going on, man? Thank y'all for having me on.
What's up, my brother?
Hey, just to go over what Mr. R. King was trying to explain, and then I'll go to what I really got. When he was talking about the whole serpent and stuff like that in the garden, technically the serpent never lied about anything. He said, one, in the garden that you would be like God and have everlasting life, and two, that you would be like God and knowing the truth about life and death. So he technically never lied, but there was a deception. There was the motive behind why he was saying, or the serpent was saying what he was saying, wasn't out of any like positive or goodness coming out of that. There was a deception behind that. That's the whole reason why he's called the deceiver. So, but I don't want to get into that, but I just want to kind of clarify that whole garden statement.
They still lie.
He lied.
In the overarching context, yeah, but I don't want to get into that. But the main thing I'm going to talk about is the whole fresh and fish thing. I think a point that can be gathered, or a point that can be gathered from all of this, is that too much of anything can be bad for you. And I think they are people that take the red pill stuff a little bit like too much. And anything that goes against the red pill, that seems to go against the red pill, they're absolutely against it. So correct me if I'm not wrong, but the whole basis and premise of the stuff started was because of the whole thing behind prostitution, correct? Or them disagreeing with prostitution. Them basically disagreeing forever, buying women and sexual favors.
I think that was the first thing, yeah.
Right. So basically what it is they felt attacked because a lot of their, at least from how I'm seeing it, a lot of their masculinity is predicated on them not buying women. Based off of whatever belief system that they got, they say, we're not going to spend any type of money on this woman. And that's just like to me, like if I look at the whole spectrum of everything, and red pill is all the way to the left, they're just all the way to the left. I don't know if there's another pill that would call that type of extreme red pillism, but that's what they are. And so anything that goes against that narrative, they're going to push back on it because it's attacking their ego and attacking their masculinity. Even though what Amir and Preach was talking about, they have very valid points. Like you're going to eventually end up paying for this stuff and everything like that, either with your money or either with your time. And then Kevin Samuels basically came in and doubled down on that point. But now they're coming into a real conflict with their belief systems, and now the stuff's coming out with them, talking stuff behind Kevin Samuels' back. But Kevin Samuels was a person that Myron seemed to look up to in great admiration. And so it's like he's happy to come to that belief system, like, okay, well, I looked up to this guy, and this was a guy that I was basically hurraying all the way to the back. But now Kevin Samuels is saying, well, this is actually what it's like on the actual high value state. But he considers himself a high value man, correct? But when Kevin Samuels says, well, this is actually how high value men operate, it goes against his belief system and stuff like that. And I don't think they were able to really process that. And a part of that just comes from, most likely, they're just new to the position that they're in, and they just spoke out a little bit too soon instead of just digesting what Amir and Preach were saying. Instead of just digesting it and saying, okay, let me see what they're saying, do a little bit more research, and come back with a better argument. Instead of them coming back with a better argument to argue their point, they just argued against Amir and Preach, and then that's where they basically killed themselves at. And that's why they're being basically flamed by the whole community and stuff. But to me, again, a lot of this stuff could just go back to, look, I think a lot of people take this whole red pill stuff a little bit too serious, to the point to where it's like any type of slight, even if you go to these days, even if you go to a woman's picture and you just think she's a beautiful woman, you have no interest in actually being with that woman, you like that picture, they're going to call you a simp, even though that's not necessarily simping, at least from how I would view that. But a lot of people, that's what they would say. So that's my whole little 2 cents about the stuff.
Okay.
Thanks, Godson. Thank you.
I definitely appreciate your perspective. All right, I'm gonna get some more people on real quick. Thank you. I'm bring a couple more people, y'all, and we'll call the show in here.
I made it. Hey, I made it.
What's going on, Miss Parker?
Hey, loves, how are you? How is everybody? I love the show. Much respect, peace, and blessings. First and foremost.
Thank you.
Second, I again watched the content. I agree with Lucky about it being entertaining, to say the least. I'm not a really huge big fan of them, but it's entertaining. My thing is, I've seen a lot of red pill content. I've seen a lot of stuff that is just really not good for Black men and not good for Black women. My opinion on this is just that I don't think that we should be taking everything that everybody say and run with it. I think that we need to take what applies to our life and our situation, and then whatever else is the rest is the rest. Now, I agree with Courtney and Freezy and Miss Lauren about all the as you get bigger on your platform, you then become, as they would say, kind of responsible for how you put information out there, because people are looking up to you, just like, the ball players, just like the rappers, the entertainers, the people are that in high places on high platforms, right? So with that, I agree to that certain extent. That's where I also agree with it comes for our parenting skills to be able to either monitor what our kids are watching or just constantly remind them that, hey, all of this information doesn't need to be imputed into you. If that makes sense, like you don't need to always take everything that they say and apply it to your life. Like you can just take what is needed. Like I heard that they have a podcast in the mornings about, positive stuff about helping young men elevate themselves. And that's great. The nighttime stuff is just for the nighttime stuff. So that's my opinion on that. Now, as far as the Alba and Preach thing, I really and truly think that they were out of line when they came back on. And it was like they were egging them on. And it was like it was really immature. Let's just call it what it is. It was a really, really immature post, because you guys aren't friends. So it wasn't like you were just clowning like, hey, I just did a reaction video to your reaction video. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like that. It was really, you felt some type of way. You know what I'm saying? And that part, that was where it became like, because now we see how you act on screen. We see how, whether it's an act, whether it's who you are in person, we're seeing it and it's becoming a pattern. So with that, people are going to label you as what they're labeling you as. And that's my opinion.
Thanks, Miss Parker. You are glowing, by the way. I love your hair.
Thank you, love. Thank you.
I was gonna say that your skin is beautiful.
It is.
Thank you. Thank you. So are y'all. I am just a reflection of you. Know that, baby. You understand me?
Thank
Peace
you.
and blessings. Peace. Peace
Have a
and
good
blessings.
day.
Bye. Man, I just want to say this. As evidenced by baby girl that Fit had unprotected sex with, like, not everybody is like mentally stable. Not everybody is well. Not everybody can make sound decisions on deciphering the good from the bad. So that's why I say, like, we have a responsibility, knowing that not everybody is wired the right way, correctly, as much as we can control. We can control what comes out our mouth. We can control what we spew. And so I just feel like, as a person with a big platform, a huge following, the least you could do is make sure that you're responsible with your words. At the very least, of course, you can't be responsible for how someone understands it, but you can be responsible for what you say. So that's like where my stance is. But I definitely agree. Like, you can do what you can do, right? You can eat whatever, spit out what you don't want to accept. And then you can also have conversations with people to say, hey, this is a lie, this is true. But again, people are going to take what they want. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm welcome, Bearded Ruckus 01.
Hey, what's up, Lauren? What's up, everybody?
Oh no.
Hey, not much here, man. I'm actually working a 17-hour shift right now, so I just took a little quick break for you guys.
Salute to you, brother.
Hey, so man, I want to come up and to Lauren's point, actually, I know she touched on a really important part that I wanted to just jump on that, about speaking the truth, and the way that the delivery comes off. I think there's one aspect of speaking the truth, which is facts, but then there's also the delivery, because you can speak the truth without grace, and what does it do? It just tears down. But if you speak the truth with grace, meaning to build up, then you're actually getting somewhere. You're actually being fruitful with the discussion in order to build somebody up instead of tearing people down, which I think a lot of the times that's what tends to happen in the Fresh and Fit podcast. I'm not gonna lie, I've been watching them for a very long time now. Like I said, for entertainment purposes as well. There is some stuff that they do say that are beneficial in the sense of financial stuff, men actually, building themselves up first.
What?
No, yeah, they said the only thing that I don't agree with, I'll tell you word for word what they say, and I'll tell you the part that I don't agree with, and that I would actually change it up. They say they say this. They say that men should focus on themselves first, so they don't tolerate the bullshit that comes with women. I'll say it like this. I don't agree with the last part. I'll say build yourself up first, so you don't tolerate the bullshit that comes up in being around the bad circle of people. Not just women, but people in general. Because when you're building yourself up and you're walking in integrity, you're gonna surround yourself with people of that same exact caliber. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I'm chasing success and I'm chasing integrity and I'm trying to follow the right path, I'm not gonna surround myself with other men that are walking in the wrong direction, and two, I'm not gonna go ahead and give my time and my attention to females that are about the street life, being hoish and being out there.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
So there's that dynamic there. I think what happened with them was, I don't want to judge their intentions, but I think they just got clout happy. They got all this money and everything, and they're still learning. So what I will say is this: I think they need mentorship with true high value men, and knowing how to conduct, discussion with other women and other men, and knowing how to communicate what they want to communicate in a more gracious manner, in a way that can edify people instead of degrade them. Because a lot of the times I see that it's kind of like, it rubs me the wrong way at times when I see, them talking to the women. Sometimes they say it's true. Sometimes they say it's like, I'm married. I have 4 kids. So, to me, I'm all about marriage. And that's the thing. Like, when it comes down to women and men, women have to have, be respected, because not only that they're women, and the Bible says that they are the weaker vessel. So a man's strength is to protect that woman, to, build that woman up as the same way that the woman is supposed to be his helpmate, but they're made in the image of God. You know, not only men are, but women are made in the image of God. So when we understand that humanity, man and women, are made in the image of God himself, you speak to that person differently and you treat that person differently. You would treat that woman with so much respect because she is a nurturer and God has made her to bear children. You know what I mean? So you will protect that vessel with your life. You get what I mean? So, I mean, like I said, there's pros and cons to the Fresh and Fit podcast. I can say that much. I speak with objectivity. You know, I try to look, you know, see where we can find the middle ground. Now, I do have a question for you guys, and I guess specifically to Lapeef. To what point, if they say that they acknowledge that they were wrong, right? Let's just say give them the benefit of the doubt, and then their intentions were actually sincere, right? That they apologized and they want to make right their wrongs. How long do we wait for them to try to make amends and to try to forgive? Because this is the thing, they do have a platform and they do have a big influence. So it is important that they do try to make amends because of the influence that they have with the culture, especially with the men that they're trying to reach out to. So how long would you say, would you give them a time frame to try to make amends and to actually, for people to actually forgive them?
I wouldn't put a time frame on it. If it was me, I'm gonna use me as an example. If I was in that situation, then I would have to accept full responsibility for my actions, especially if there's proof out there. Because what I wouldn't want to happen is that like more receipts come out that actually prove that I'm wrong. So let's just say that you was proven wrong and then you deny it and you try to twist the narrative. And then more receipts come out that discredit what you just said. You're going to just keep digging yourself a bigger hole. So if it's me, I'll just accept full responsibility. And from that point on, I would maybe do a show how I'm holding myself accountable, you know, talk about what I did wrong, how I should have been better, and just do like a formal like apology. And then moving forward, you got to just be still consistent in doing what you've been doing. You might got to make some changes and adjustment. And it's going to be ultimately up to the people to, you know, once they feel comfortable, once they feel like they can trust you, then like the people just going to just start rocking with you from that point on.
And just to let it be known, I think they did issue a statement, apologize. They said they were sorry and they're not about drama. And they said that.
Yeah, they said they were sorry, but they were still saying but. You know,
yeah, that's what I was going to get to.
Yeah, so they were saying but.
What they said was, we shouldn't have talked about Preach's wife. We shouldn't have talked about his country. Right. We were wrong for that.
Yeah.
Was that a real apology that they shouldn't have talked? It wasn't. I'm so sorry. I was absolutely wrong. You are absolutely. You know, I didn't hear a genuine apology.
Well, what I was going to say was they tried to issue an apology and they wished Auburn Preach the best, but they also kind of hinted that they're not about drama. And I took it like they was trying to say Auburn Preach was, and they're not going to follow the drama.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of like a half-ass apology.
Yeah, so I guess it's open pretty much. So they left it open to interpretation pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see that. Yeah, and like I said, you know, there's some things that they do say that are factual. You know, when it comes down to finance and everything, and other stuff, I'm like, okay, buddy, I think you're wrong there. You know, not that I know that you're wrong there. You know, especially coming from a married man, especially coming from somebody that, you know, does his best to walk in integrity. I follow Anton hardcore. So when it comes down to an integrity, man, man, if Anton is listening, bro, salute, bro. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think, you know, I think we as people have to see now moving forward. Okay, now instead of continually tearing them down, or disregard anybody, how is it that we can, I guess, are they open and humble enough to receive correction from other content creators going forward? Because this YouTube game is very, very influential, you know, and now in a digital age, we're reaching a younger demographics that do need counsel, especially from, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think they're open to correction if it's given in the way that they want to receive it. There's been many of people that have corrected them like in a public way that they have taken as maybe a clapback or a reaction video, or they're not taking it as correction because he said on multiple times, just text me, reach out to me, we've talked. They want correction behind the scenes so that they can still continue to show up in the way that they want to show up, right? And so now they're getting, like, so many people are chiming in on this, and they're not appreciating the fact that there are men that are holding them accountable. You shouldn't have said this. They need to be out of the manosphere space. They, to me, that's accountability, but they don't like the way that it's given.
That's a good point. I like that. Okay, true. Well, yeah, but I just wanted to give you guys my 2 cents. Man, I appreciate what you guys are doing. Definitely appreciate it.
Bro.
I got to get back to work and finish a 17-hour shift. So.
I salute to you, man. Make sure you get you some rest when you get off, man.
Definitely. Salute.
All right. Man, everybody in the comments saying that, I guess they must be Fresh and Fit fans, saying that we didn't watch the question and answer show last night.
I watched the whole 3 hours worth.
Yeah. They said that they said that they apologized the whole entire night. We don't know what we're talking about.
They did not.
I watched it.
No, it's so funny. The people that got so much to say won't came up.
Listen, you know what? You know when they issued an apology, when they found out that Preach had a black belt. That's when they issued. That's when they issued an apology. When they tried to, they didn't want to fight no more. They didn't want to fight no more. That's when they issued an apology.
What's going on, B now?
Everybody, God bless. How's everybody doing? Another wonderful show.
Appreciate it.
As usual. The Fresh and Fit thing, I blame the fans. And I blame the girls. I hear about all this sisterhood and all this and that. Why are any women going on the Fresh and Fit show off of these accusations? It just proves the whole point that clout means more than integrity. These girls, it means more to them to have a name for themselves and to put themselves on Front Street and to be the biggest whatever in the game versus the sisterhood. I mean, that's what the whole red pill community is supposed to be fighting against, is the sisterhood that has overpowered us some way, somehow, and we have to somehow take control back, is the narrative that I hear all the time, which is in a lot of ways BS. But that's the narrative that's out there. And then as far as the fans go, y'all, and nobody's gonna like what I'm about to say, but y'all are nerds. Y'all are losers. Y'all are the type of dudes that would never have gotten these girls in high school, in college, in any form at all. And you're using Fresh and Fit to put you into the cyber club and give you access to these hot women that you know in a million years you would never even be able to smell their perfume, let alone know what their breath smell like. So you're using Fresh and Fit to get close to these girls. And then when, I don't even know which one is which, but whichever one Myron is, when Myron goes on the girl and gets her drunk and then trips her up and kicks someone off the show, all these nerds at home that are playing their video games and they're in their cyber clubbing are in there cheering like, yeah, go Myron, yeah, you represent us. Yeah. No. Grow up. This is not a platform to get you into a club. If you want to meet what is the point of seeing these women in video chats? You don't know what their fingers feel like. You don't know what their skin feels like. But no, you over here loving this cyber nonsense. Like, after the show is over, do you go home to your blow up doll?
They did.
You know what, B9, you know what? You make a good point, man. I'm gonna tell you, not to give a shameless plug, but that's what actually attracted me to the Lapeef show. It wasn't just one narrative being spewed, it was a lot of perspectives being given. You know what I'm saying? That's what made the show special. That's why I kept watching and watching and watching. And it goes back to the point that Courtney and Lucky and Lauren and Amir was saying. A lot of those viewpoints, talking points that they speak was of Kevin Samuels. You know what I'm saying? So it was like it was like a, what you call it, the echo chamber. I know Anton said it's an echo chamber, man. That's what it is. You know.
Now, can I say something really quickly regarding B9? Yes, B9, you mentioned that the red pill. This is just one disagreement. Everything else I agree with. You mentioned that the red pill is going against the sisterhood, saying that the sisterhood is what brought everybody down, and this is what we need to take down, dismantle. I just wanted to say, I don't think that that's what it is. It's more of the system, the court system, the family courts. It's bigger than a sisterhood that the red pill is trying to expose, but it's trying to expose how everything is against men. Everything has been orchestrated this way, like what do they call it? Gynocracy, a female world. The Western world is a female world, and it's all about females and the protection of females and only females. So, just wanted to say
that. And I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I guess what I meant by it is that as human beings, we're always looking for the advantage. And what you said as far as the system goes has given women a great advantage in today's society. And it has taken men this long to realize that there has to be a counter punch to that knockout punch. Because if you don't have a counterattack, you're going to always lose. And as you pointed out very eloquently, Ms. Amir, the court systems, the divorce systems, the Me Too movements have all weaponized the sisterhood. And no disrespect to the sisterhood, any organization or gender or race that has power would be fools to give it up. So naturally, you're going to fight for the power that you have. But we as men are now waking up and realizing we built the infrastructure for your takeover. We built the infrastructure for our own demise. And that's the whole point, going back to Courtney's point about race and culture. That is the whole point of our culture that we have to change, because as African Americans, we built this country and never got paid for it. We never got the repercussions that come along with these blood, sweat, and tears. That's why people speak of reparations. That's why people speak of the Freeman Bureau. I did a little research, Miss Courtney, when we were talking about the HBCUs. Number one HBCU for most people, the Mecca, Howard University. Mr. Howard is a white man. Yeah. Mr. Howard was ran the Freeman's Bureau. He was the reason and why Howard is Howard. But nobody makes the connection between how blacks were robbed of the money out of the Freeman's Bureau, yet Howard University was built out of that same fund.
Well, all HBCUs.
I'm sorry, you go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry.
No, I was agreeing with you, but that's the purpose of HBCUs. Is because they didn't want us in their colleges, and the HBCUs, particularly talking about Howard University and Fisk University, these were the children of the slave owners when they got with the slave women. So these were biracial kids. A lot of these, they had a paper bag test going into these particular schools where you couldn't be darker than a paper bag. And they wanted to make sure that you were fair skinned. And again, these schools were made for the children, the mulattoes. Right. So that's what HBCUs was founded for, is to educate the slave masters' children from the women that they got pregnant.
But throughout history, regardless of who went to Howard or any other HBCU, Caucasians profited, and they profit till this day. And my whole point, bringing this full circle, is Stop trying to waste time getting into the club or the virtual club when we need to be building an embassy for us. That is the difference between Black America and all other minorities here in America. Is every other minority here in America has a piece of land or another country to associate their culture with. Mr. King will come back and give you the Mr. Peabody blah, blah, blah to death over code and this and that, Courtney, because there is no country or culture or land to attach our code to. Amir can come up here and speak about tradition because they have the real estate necessary to give them the time, the space, the energy to create the culture and the traditions that can last for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Until we have actual land that we can associate with and a culture that we can have universally, irregardless of whether you are tall, short, gay, straight, light-skinned Black, dark-skinned Black, whatever the male, female, Catholic, Baptist, Muslim, whatever the case may be, there is one body that only an embassy can handle that needs to embody us. We put all of our problems on the NAACP.
All right, we got to do final point B now.
Yes, sir. This will be my last point. I'll let y'all go because I can't get going. But
oh, really?
But yeah, we put too much on the NAACP and on other organizations to handle macro problems when they're only a micro organization in the grand scheme of things. We have to put at least 10 of these organizations together in the same room and, oh my God, make Black people actually get along and not leave the room until we're going to walk out with things that are beneficial to our race, our culture, our future. And on that note, God bless you all. Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it.
Knock them out the park. Love you. Peace out.
Yeah, bye, B9.
B9 out. I love B9.
B9 tough.
Yeah. All right, y'all. The few people that's down there, man, we got to go ahead and go ahead and bring this show to a close. Look out for us on Thursday on the Lapeef Let's Talk show. Lapeef Let's Talk is Thursday. I appreciate you guys tonight. It was dope. Hey, I feel y'all good. Smile. Yeah, man, what's going on?
This is definitely fun. This is fun.
There you go. There go the smile.
I heard that. Swing it around, JR.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
nice
look
to
out
meet
there.
Courtney
Uma.
after the call.
What was that?
I said it's nice to meet Courtney after the call.
Oh.
That crazy week. Hi, Courtney.
Hello there.
Okay. Freezy, I can't even hear what's going on. That goddamn wind, man.
That wind, not a fan, but
Yeah, we hear. You don't hear it? You got the headphones on. You don't hear that wind coming through the headphones? Because I can hear every feedback that comes through mine.
What about now? You hear it now?
We can hear birds chirping, kids crying.
So you got a jungle over there, man. All right, y'all, man. We appreciate you guys tuning in tonight for the Lapeef Network. Again, come back Thursday, 7:30 Central Time. Lapeef Let's Talk. That's when we rock out again. All right, y'all. Sure, they're doing. So funny. You ain't smoking on trees over there, are you? They laugh a little bit too damn hard. I ain't even said my joke yet.
Oh God, you can hear me? Oh, I thought I was muted.
I heard everything.
I heard you laughing. That was it, Amir. You ain't saying
No,
nothing.
I heard everything. I heard everything.
I'm sorry.
And I must say, I am quite impressed.
Oh, you didn't know about that, JR, huh? You didn't know?
No, I didn't know about that.
Oh my God.
I'm hearing that noise again on your end.
I'm just cracking up that people think it's my birthday today. I don't know why.
It's your birthday.
If it was my birthday, I would be somewhere overseas or something.
Yeah.
That's
Bro.
okay. I love y'all. This chat is lit.
Bro.
Bro.
All right, y'all. Bro. Now she gonna try to mute it now. Nah. Where I mute it?
I can let you guys know my secrets.
Okay. Okay.
JR, I do not like you. What's wrong with you, man?
Man, working off about a few hours of sleep, that's all. Yeah. Probably still go to bed late tonight. I'm tired though, but I gotta keep working. Gotta keep working. All right, y'all. I see you're still on, my friend. You're still on, hon.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay, everyone. Okay.
Rila.
You was good, huh? Okay.
JR.
Yes.
What do you think about today broadcast? You know, it's a little bit different energy today. What do you think about it?
It was cool. It was cool. You know, I kind of like to put different people together. You know, it's gonna be some more shows coming to the Lapeef Network, so I just like to kind of play around with different mixtures. I don't know, that fresh and fit. Not too many people rock with it, so it was interesting. I thought I would get more more out of it, but it was cool.
Yeah, I think people didn't go as far into detail as I thought they would. I thought it would be more like lessons learned. I think maybe you should have spoke about it a little bit more, so then we could go that way.
Yeah,
What do you think?
yeah. I could have. I was but I didn't really want to dive too much deep into the whole back and forth. I think it was more so I wanted to kind of highlight some lessons that we could pull from the situation. Again, I've heard different perspectives and I have no clue what's true and what's not true. So, who am I to really judge? But what I can say is I can kind of speak on everyday situations that we experience quite often. Like that feminine energy that was being said, getting like overly emotional, um, you know, kind of fumbling in the bag, so to speak. Anytime you put into these situations, you're in a spotlight, you got to remain in frame. You have to remain in frame. Because if you don't, then things just start to spiral out of control. So
I mean, that means you can tell the real truth of him, because even if it was an act, he wasn't even able to hold his frame enough time to get the camera off first.
yeah.
So the real truth will always come out.
Yeah. It most definitely does, man. And it just kind of puts you in the light. I think it's a lot of people that's on camera that we see nowadays that they are portraying to be a certain person that they're not. I can just kind of feel it. I can kind of see it. And they're putting out a message, and I feel like it's all a fraud. I'm not saying them in particular. I'm just saying in general. It just made me think about the possibilities of like who else will fold, or if there are other things out there that they're not telling people. So it's just quite interesting. Just looking at everything in this YouTube community. It's weird.
Did you notice how many people came out when this happened and they said they disassociated themselves right away because they didn't want what you're saying to happen, where people start looking at you like, wait a minute, are you who you say you are? Because this guy isn't. So everyone has come out to say, no, I'm not with that. I'm against it. I think Poor Man Podcast came out and said something. Kevin Samuels made a broadcast. He says he wasn't addressing the drama, but he kind of was in a more elevated way. And I just found Mr. Duke Jackson, and he also said something regarding that. So
Yeah, it's some personal things going on that I'm not aware of. But when I was listening to their question and answer segment, they did say that they named a few people that reached out to him on the side. So I thought that was pretty dope that even though they had allegedly made a mistake or there were some negative things that was going on between them, there were still some people that was trying to encourage them through it or trying to guide them through it. I mean, ultimately they made the decision to still like make videos or do whatever it is and go against the grain of the advice that was given. But I still just appreciated them people that was in their corner. So it was cool to see that.
we're not live anymore, right? Or are we still?
Yeah, we still live. That. Yeah, we still live.
Oh God! Wait, did we say anything wrong? Okay, no, I didn't. Okay.
Nah, you didn't say nothing wrong. Like now, we never say anything wrong.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but it's good talk though. It's we're able to get some more perspectives, squeeze a little bit more perspectives in, even though everybody's not here. But yeah, I mean, I don't really care. I mean, the only time I started watching them was honestly, I was just watching everything that was going on. So I did watch their videos. I did watch the lead attorneys, O'Shea.
Yeah.
I watched Anton's videos. I watched quite a few people just so I can kind of get a better understanding as to what was going on. Usually when I see blow-ups that happen on the YouTube, I just be like, man, I do not want to be like that guy. I don't want that to happen to me. So I kind of just study it and to just, kind of look at what I got going on to make sure that we never get to the point where we doing things like that. Now, we have had some moments where we came close to it, but I think it's a good thing to try to get things in order as quickly as possible and making sure that we don't fold.
I really want to know what Rila has to say about all of this. I haven't heard his opinion. I watched Anton. I kind view, but it would have been nice because we had such a female panel tonight. It would have been nice to have like a more male perspective. Like I think more. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think more like red pill style, more kind of cold that way. I don't really have that female kind of thing in my head. I don't know how to say it. You understand what I mean. But it would have been nice more men's view on it.
Oh yeah. It's coming, man. I mean, I'm definitely studying some things, and I got some things in store. So
I can't wait to hear Rila his perspective on everything.
Oh yeah, Rilla was feeding me, man. He was like Channel 10 News, like, bro, you see what's going on? He was feeding me information. He was sending me links. Yeah. Rilla was definitely had a lot of information, a lot to say about it. So yeah.
Good.
But I'm gonna get up off here. You said what?
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna eat?
Think we're gonna eat?
Mm-hmm. We're gonna hang up, yeah?
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna eat nothing else. I got some work to do. I got some, so I'm gonna sit right here for a second and get to this work and start preparing for the show on Thursday, 7:30 Central Time. So
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. I look forward to it. And again, I mean, it looked like we had a lot of fresh and fit fans in the club. I mean, not in the club, but in the comments.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so it looked like they was all through that, man. Again, we can't speak on everything, and I can't expect everybody to watch every single thing that's been going on, but I did want to just kind of see what people had to say about it, see if we could just start a little conversation. Never claim to know 1,000% as to what happened. I don't really have a side. I just speak on what's being said, and I just apply it to my life and just see, how we can learn from what's going on. That's my whole stance. I can care less, if what they do. Grown folks and whatever business they got with somebody else, it ain't my business. So
JR, before we go, can I ask you, do you think that there's any possibility that we have it wrong? That their stands, the Fresh and Fit stands, are seeing something that we don't see or something? Do you think we have it wrong?
I don't see anything wrong from my end, how I'm looking at it. I'm just looking at it like, I'm just questioning, like, are these guys are who they say they are? And then I just seen their reaction. So the way that they reacted on camera, from what I've seen, is just I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't a fan of the things that they were saying about is it Preach, right? Preach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of what was saying about that. I wasn't a fan about the whole boxing thing. It should have never even got to that. So I just think it just kind of spiraled out of control, and then they would just respond emotionally. And then the other thing that stood out for me is that Fresh, that's the shorty guy, right? Fresh.
Fresh is the short, yeah.
Yeah. So Fresh, I just don't see how he can just be a puppet and just allow like the brand to self-destruct like that. You just can't sit here and just keep agreeing if it's something that's wrong. Like, how can two people see things the same way? And like most of the people, from how I'm looking at it, it's like, man, you guys are just self-destructing the brand. Like, you guys just need to just shut up and just like disappear for a little bit, or I don't know what they need to do. They just need to stop talking, because every time they kept putting out stuff, to me, it just looked like they were just digging themselves a bigger hole. And
it's like they don't have a PR person. They don't have a person who's telling them, how to handle their public reputation.
And then even the guy, when he came onto the lead attorney's page, and the intruder, and he spoke his piece. He's a very intelligent brother, it seems like, and it seemed like he might have some truth to what he was saying, but then it also seemed like it was a strategy too. Like he was trying to seek some, I guess, some sight, some vision. I mean, not no vision, but he's just trying to get seen for his channel. It's just, I don't know. It's all messed up. So even though he was adding some value as far as, even though it was adding some value as far as bringing us into what was really going on, I still think that he was still trying to get seen too. So.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody around that age group, I think, is looking to get themselves more attention because they figure like more attention adds more money adds more girls adds more cars, all of this. But I wanted to ask you, do you think that intrusion was a publicity stunt?
I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of sketchy. The whole door situation. You know, the intruder, forget his name. He's saying that he didn't break the door, that Myron must have broke the door, I guess, when the police, and then like they saying that the door was locked. It just doesn't make sense. We don't have the facts. So all we can do is just kind of speculate as to what possibly happened. I don't know. See, they doing some hella good acting because when the show was going live, it didn't. I don't know, man.
Yeah, you're right. It didn't look like a setup because
like
they were.
and then look at it, and if it was all a setup, it's like, man, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, now that I think about it, because we've been hearing so much stuff that's been surprising us from the get-go. Like I was surprised to if he is telling them you got to sleep with me to be on the show. That's fucked up.
That's really messed up.
So
I mean,
they showed
the message. I mean, you can't fake that, can you? I mean,
yeah.
And he never denied it.
No, you couldn't fake it. But then again, I say I don't know, man. I really don't even care about it, to be honest. About what's going on. I'm just trying to figure out what I can pull from it to make sure that we don't experience anything like that.
Right.
And just trying to take some lessons and see how I can apply that to our lives. That's all. So, I mean, it's probably going to keep going on. I won't speak back on it again. It's the last time you'll hear about it on a Lapeef Network, and we're going to get back to business as usual. So,
we're not even going to bring it up a little bit on Thursday.
Nah, I ain't gonna bring it up on Thursday, man. I think people just beating it to death. I felt like, you know, we could bring it up now because we had so many facts in the place, but I can't expect everybody to watch as much as I've watched of it. And I didn't watch a lot. I just spent maybe like a couple of days just catching up on some videos. Like I said, O'Shea, the lead attorney, Anton's page, when Auburn preached, I listened to what they were saying on their videos. So I can just try to get the best understanding possible. But some of the stuff is long. Like even like the lead attorneys. I mean, that was a long live with the
hours.
With the child. So I couldn't catch up on everything. But again, I just know that I personally don't watch their show. I had nothing against it. I seen that they was doing numbers, but I just didn't really see how it would benefit me. You know, I don't too much watch entertainment. I just kind of watch a lot of stuff that bring me value. So if it doesn't bring me value, or if it's not me, you know, seeing what's going on, seeing what we can talk about, then I'm really not watching it.
Same here. I like to watch smart stuff. And now you can get the opposite point of view if anybody is out there who wants to see the opposing view. There is a content creator named Donovan Sharp who is on the Fresh and Fit's side. So you can see what he is talking about in defense of Fresh and Fit if you're interested to get a more balanced view, if you don't want to just see people who are, you know, recognizing Myron for fraud. The other side would be Donovan Sharp. You can get the balanced view.
I didn't even know that. I heard that name before. Yeah. All right, Amir, baby girl. So you really get up off of here, play a couple little tracks, man. I'm gonna end it. I know people still want to comment in these chats, but got work to do.
I'll listen to the music. Good night, guys.
All right, good night.
Bye.